Max Rich here, and I want to talk to you about chord analysis and how massively important it is for your own musical theory and for your own benefit as a musician. Musical analysis is something that we all do. Like if you go to music school or something, it's something they make you do all the time. They give you like a score from Beethoven, or they give you a John Coltrane song or something, and they say, analyze this. And I remember when I was first introduced to it, I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? This is like speaking Chinese to me or something. I have no idea where to even begin. Eventually I learned something that is going to hopefully cut down the time it takes you to do it, because it took me a while to kind of put the pieces together. But basically what chord analysis is taking chords, C, F, G, whatever, and thinking about them numerically rather than alphabetically. And so, for an example, we've talked about major, minor scales and this type of thing, and thinking about scales in a numerical way. So like C is 1, D is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 1. And we did that with diatonic chords as well. And it's the same concept here, except now we have to analyze them in context of a song rather than just out of a scale, right? You play a scale, it's always going to be numerical order from beginning to end and then back. But chords and a song they're going to be very different, right? So I'm going to go through and I'm going to show you some common chord progressions that are all over music, that pretty much permeate tons of pop, blues, jazz, rock, R&B, funk, country. They all use really similar chord progressions. Now the style is going to be different. You may have like a reggae groove or something like, right? And that's using G and D. But you can use the same two chords in a completely different style, something like in like a rock style. But the analysis will remain the same, and that's why it's so useful, because it's not based on style or genre or player. It's sort of a universal way of looking at chord progressions and making sense of them. And the reason you should want to make sense of them is that so you know what to play over them or what to play with them, right? I see a lot of players who, they hear an A major chord and they say, oh, that's an A. And they play an A minor scale over an A major chord. And it almost always sounds really bad, because it's an A minor scale over an A major chord. They have different notes. And so learning how to analyze chord progressions will lead you to being able to play properly and fluidly over a series of chords, regardless of whether they stay in the same key or not. So it really will help your improvisation, your soloing ability, and even your songwriting ability to say, oh, hey, I know that this common chord progression works, and this is why it works. And that just kind of opens up a huge new door for you, or hopefully it should. It did for me anyway, and it does for most of my students. So stick around and I'll show you all the little tricks of the trade as far as analysis go.